Good evening. Today's episode is brought to you by the Cintroverts podcast. Cintroverts. And I think you should know how to spell the. Fucking hope so. Alright? Now, Jim, did you get a sponsor? No, I didn't get a sponsor. Buddy of mine, Mike Robertson. I think I can use names. It's pretty public information, right? It's on Apple, iTunes, podcast app. The real deal. The real fucking deal, people. Okay? He's half of the show. I wouldn't call him a co-host because it's really... He's a main host, and there's another host. Good show. Have I listened to it? Look, we're not here to ask who listened to what fully. I'm just going to say it's good. All right? We're not here to ask who's listened to full episodes of whose podcast. All right? Now, I was stumbling across, I noticed some episodes a little lengthy. Came across a 4-hour episode. Okay, now, listen. The point is, they're not fucking around, all right? The Cintroverts podcast. The reason I'm giving them a shout out, and I believe the premise is not only are they shooting the shit, talking about stuff they like, but it's very horror based, horror movie based, Halloween-ish based. It's just based all around. No, it's that's kind of the theme, right? You can tell by the episode titles and the episodes, which, you know what? Know what? I've listened to every single one, and they're all fucking gold. Okay, they're all fucking gold. Can I prove it? Why should I have to? Fuck you. I haven't listened to a full episode yet. But the reason I am... I got to give them a shout out is because my buddy hooked me up. Buddy Mike. He said, this is how you get on iTunes, bitch. This is how you fucking do it. All right? Have you ever tried using your fucking brain, Jim? Have you ever tried... why the fuck do you think people are going to listen to a podcast on iTunes? Because it's an audio forum, that's why. But what the fuck makes you think they're going to listen to a podcast on YouTube? You fucking idiot. It's a video forum. It's for videos. No one's listening to radio on the television, okay? You fucking moron. Find some more platforms. Find... ways to distribute the podcast app via Apple, via iTunes. This is where it's at. Stop living in the fucking 50s. You fucking Neanderthal. Grow up, Jim. Grow up. No one's listening to podcasts on YouTube. Maybe if you have a video associated with it, but... judging by, your material, I haven't seen a fucking video yet. Get on iTunes, Jim. I said, all right, listen, you don't have to be mean about it. Stop picking on me. He's quite the bully, to be honest with you. No, he's a good guy. We got the RSS feed. Submitted the show into iTunes. Should be able to get away with it being free for a while. They're going to let me post up to 20 episodes, I believe, or 5 hours of material. Episodes are pretty short, if you haven't noticed. There will be the most recent episodes, 20 most recent episodes on iTunes. As soon as I get approved for this shit, which will hopefully be within the 24 hours. Submitted it last night, right? They got to look over it. It's 15 minutes. What the fuck does it take a day? Why does it take a day? Why does it take 2 days? What the fuck? What do you have to approve? You can say we can say whatever we want, right? Guess they want to make sure you're not stealing, right? You're not just reposting someone else's, posting it as your own. They got to find out who you are, type in your social, find out your work history, things like that they can just go to Google or Facebook to find out about you. They want to know, is this your voice? Compare it to other recordings of your voice, because they have that shit on file, buddy. Privacy's a myth. We've been over this. This episode, the previous episode, Yesterday's episode will be on iTunes as soon as it gets loaded. And every episode henceforth. As far as the most recent 20 go. Okay? That's the plan. However, the full catalog will be found here. Well, if you're listening to this on iTunes, not here. It will be found on YouTube. It will be found on YouTube. The full catalog. Okay? There's no limit over there. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool about these things. Otherwise, I'd have to pay to get, more time, more episodes up at once. I'll just delete the oldest one and then go to YouTube if you want the really old shit. No one's listening to more than 5 hours of my shit anyway in a row. No one's listening to 20 episodes in a row, okay? They're not. They're not going to. You'll be fine. You'll be all right. Newest shit will be up on iTunes. Hopefully, you're listening to this episode as we speak on iTunes. Podcast. Grow up. Get with the 21st century. No one's listening to YouTube. No one listens to... You watch YouTube. You fucking idiot. You fucking moron. So, I guess I could touch on this a little. This is public information, right? I can drop names and shit. My buddy Mike, again, host, co-host. I mean, it's like Abbott and Costello, right? There's one really an assistant to the other. I don't think so. There's, mutual, equality, equal opportunity. That's what I'm about, equality. That's what I like to see. Partnership. The Cintroverts Podcast. CINTROVERTS. My buddy, how I know him, he's from Philadelphia, I believe, if not a little bit outside. I think Philly. I want to say Philly. What the fuck do you care? All right, But we used to play in this band together called Fool's Rain. FOOLSREIGN. Fool's Rain. Look it up on YouTube. There's still some videos out there. Was it the best band ever? No, not in the least. But, I could take some of the blame for that. I was the guitar player. I played guitar. Probably the most consistent. I think I was replaced at one point when I took a break from the band. And then eventually, though, we came back. Mike came in to play bass. At one point, we had a fill-in drummer. Did a show that way. And then Alex Webster. He was the consistent main drummer. You can look that guy up. Good drummer. John Woods was the visionary lead singer. And I don't want to shit on. It was a good time. We just decided to go our separate ways, and before you know it, people start making podcasts. And those guys, they're doing their own thing, making independent films and whatnot. So it all worked out. We all decided, this music fucking thing ain't working. All right, let's just fucking talk. Let's just talk. All right, it's easier. Why learn an instrument? I already know how to use my mouth. So does your mother. Oh, God, Jim, come on. Easy. Your mom's a whore. All right, calm down. Hey, look, wow, that was a soft toss. Am I going to just not make a your mom joke? You fucking people. So I play guitar. Now, I'm currently in a band. Going to band practice later, as a matter of fact. I'm going to leave momentarily whenever I'm done recording this for you guys. Look, see how much effort I go out of my way just to make sure you guys get a fucking episode. It's pretty good. We don't even have a name, this band. These guys I met through a mutual friend who later decided, he didn't want to be a part of it anymore. He wasn't really a great bass player anyway, let's be honest. But I'm not talking about Mike. I've moved on. To a new band that I met through a mutual friend. That mutual friend was playing bass. Are you still with me? You still with? Just hoping you didn't lose me. I didn't lose you. Don't lose me either. That mutual friend was playing bass. He wasn't the best bass player. okay, and decided I'm married, I have a wife, I'm not doing this drive every fucking Thursday, however much a week. He said, it's not for me. He stepped out. You know. So now I got a guitar player, phenomenal guitar player. Drummer, phenomenal drummer. Good band going. We don't have a bass player. We don't have a singer. Hit me up personally, if you have any suggestions. I don't need some guy from fucking Tennessee leaving a comment saying, he does a pretty good Billy Joel cover. I don't need this shit. If you know me personally is what I mean, okay? And, they're within reasonable distance to where we practice, where I live. That's what I want to hear. I'm advertising. Fucking play some music with us. Play some music. Listen to the Centroverse podcast. Hit me up. Hang out with us. Sing a song. Play some bass. What's the whole point? This whole episode's about the bass. All right? It's about the bass. The fan base. How's the fan base doing? You liking the episodes? Look, I know. 15 minutes isn't that much, Jim. I listen to podcasts, that are hour and a half, 2 hours. Fuck a feature film. I want a podcast that's 3 hours long. That's what I want. Jim, get a guest. Your voice is fucking annoying. You're not that funny. Jim, get a fucking writer at least. You're not good. I've heard it all, folks. I've heard it all. I'm funnier than you, okay? First of all, I'm funnier than you. All right, I think we can all admit that. Second of all, you don't have a podcast. All right, stop telling me what to do. I'm only going to take advice from people like my buddy Mike, okay, who does have a podcast on iTunes and said, hey, this is how you do it, Jim. This is how you fucking do it. Hopefully you are listening to this on iTunes. That would be cool, right? That would be pretty neat. You're the second episode in on iTunes. I've listened to this. Heard the first episode, liked it. Second episode, not so much. But you're going to keep coming back. Why? Because it's short. I'm not eating a lot of time. What is this? What is this? What's 15 minutes? A quarter of an hour. An hour ain't even that long, right? Before you know it, you're saying, who? Who's Joe Rogan? Jim Morris. That's my podcaster. That's who I fucking like. Who's Joe Rogan? That's the goal, people. My goal is to make you forget who the fuck Joe Rogan is. All right? Is he good? Pretty good. But, I don't like all the episodes. I don't like all the guests. I don't, is he funny? He's okay. He has some good guests. I'll give you that. Some high-profile ones. Some long fucking episodes. I mean, if I see him interview Neil deGrasse Tyson one more time, I'm going to have a fucking fit. Okay? Neil deGrasse, are you fucking kidding me? How good of a scientist how useful to the scientific community are you if you're showing up to the Joe Rogan show 3 times a fucking month? All right? You got a lot of free time, NDT. I had to think about that. So, Neil deGrasse, come on. Enough. We've seen enough. Bring back Elon Musk. Now there's an episode. There's a scientist. There's there's a visionary. Bring him back. I like that Edward Norton episode. That was recent, right? That was a good one. You start a Joe Rogan podcast. You're sucked in. You're done. You're over. Come on. It's over. 2.5 hours. Blink of an eye. Over. I saw Goodfellas again last night. It was on TV, so it was censored. There were commercials. I don't even think I made it to the end. It's hard to watch on television. Funniest movie ever. Great movie. Fucking go see Goodfellas. Go to the Centroverse podcast. Subscribe to my podcast. Keep listening. Show up. That's the first step. Show up. Be a success. Make your mama proud.